Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to More GBFC. This is the Saturday morning show where we don't really do any editing. You do get to see the league tables. We do the cutbacks from the camera and the big screen and all that stuff. But this is the chilled video of the week where we have a look at the Premier League fixtures. We see how we feel before a ball is even kicked. And then, of course, over the duration of the weekend on the channel, you get certain reviews from certain teams, what stands out, and we talk about it. That is basically what More GBFC is. So I want to say, first of all, if you're watching this, get down in the comments. Let me know what you think the scores are this weekend, any upsets, who we got to watch out for. And also, I want to say a big thank you because the channel is growing. The videos are getting great amounts of views. They're getting good comments and stuff as well. So I am thoroughly enjoying making these videos for you lot. And this weekend, we have got another bumper round of fixtures. Man City Palace is the early kickoff, and I think there'll probably be a video about that match because I think there's big talking points here regardless of which way this goes, unless it's a boring draw. But we're going to talk about this game probably later on the channel, so stay tuned. Southampton, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Brighton, Leicester, Arsenal, Brentford, Chelsea, Ipswich, Wolves, Tottenham, Liverpool, West Ham, Newcastle, Man United, big game, and Bournemouth versus Fulham. The storyline at the moment in the Premier League is pretty much based on the Champions League spots and who's going to finish in the European places. If we take a look at how the table looks with Matchweek 32 coming up, Liverpool are top of the league. They're 11 points clear of Arsenal. I still think it's a formality. It's just about when. This is the battle from Nottingham Forest down to Aston Villa. And you could even say Fulham maybe are in it, especially after winning last week. Who have Fulham got again this weekend? They're away at Bournemouth, so they could get something there if results go their way. Who knows? But then we have obviously got like the mid-table teams. You could include Brighton or Bournemouth if you want to, but I think that's gone. And then you got these boys battling it out for who's the worst or the best of the rest. And then the relegation battle is pretty much non-existent now because Ipswich lost to Wolves last week. And that was such a sucker punch, but I'm happy with that because Chelsea play Ipswich this weekend. And I do think Ipswich are done now, to be honest. 12 points at this point of the season with that gap that you can see here. Like, Wolves are going to get enough points, aren't they? Surely. But anyway, let's begin with Man City versus Crystal Palace because Man City are 6th in the table. A win, and they go 4th temporarily before Chelsea and Newcastle play tomorrow. So, psychologically, a win for Man City seriously puts the pressure on all of the other teams around them. But Crystal Palace, they are just a different breed in 2025. Oliver Glasner has absolutely sorted out their season. And with that game in hand as well, if Palace keep getting wins, as we have said on this channel, we made a video totally on Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace could end this season really quite high up here. And I've got a funny feeling that they are going to get a result today away at Man City. And the reason for that is just how difficult Crystal Palace are to break down. They also quite often give Manchester City problems at the Etihad. It's an early kickoff. I'm going to say this finishes 2-2. I think it's going to be a great game of football, and I don't think Man City win. I don't know if that is just the fact that I don't want Man City to win, but I've been watching a lot of Palace recently, and I've been very impressed. Okay, Southampton versus Aston Villa. If you're an Aston Villa fan, you couldn't get a better fixture than this. It could be at home, yeah, maybe, but then I think it makes it extra special that you've had 2 games in a week, and then it's like that big crescendo, hopefully, for Aston Villa against Paris Saint-Germain in the week. Southampton, I think they're the worst Premier League team I've ever seen. I genuinely, maybe it's recency bias, but look at that. 10 points in 31 games this season. If they concede 26 more goals in the next 7 games, they concede 100. They are so bad. It's actually embarrassing how bad they are. So for Aston Villa, this is a no-brainer. They are going to go there regardless of who they rest for the weekend, and they're going to go ahead of Chelsea as of today. Aston Villa are going to win 3-0 away at Southampton. Nottingham Forest versus Everton. This is a big one because Everton, they're not winning games at the moment. They've got nothing to play for. They're difficult to break down. This has got like a 1-0 Nottingham Forest written all over it. But also, the questions about Nottingham Forest right now are, do they have the legs at this stage of the season? Can they keep going with what we've seen all year. They lost their last game, convincingly really, at Aston Villa in the first half, but second half they came straight back into it and showed us how good they are. Can they sustain it? I'm going to say they can, and I think they're going to beat Everton at home by 2-0. Brighton versus Leicester. Brighton at the moment, do we know what we're going to get with them? Not really. They're kind of just fallen off in those last 3 games. If Brighton would have got results in those last 3, they could have been up here having a conversation with these boys, but they didn't. Leicester, they're as good as down. They don't score goals. I think Brighton are going to cruise here. They're going to bounce back, and it's going to be a 3-0 Brighton win. Let's take a look now. What we got? Arsenal-Brentford. Now, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because Arsenal-Brentford is the televised game. There's obviously going to be like the narratives of it's North London versus West London. But realistically, what does this game really mean? Because Arsenal, they know what they're going for now this season. It's all about the Bernabeu next week. It's all about the Champions League. And they can't catch Liverpool. Can they? Can they? Let me know in the comments. Can Arsenal catch Liverpool? I don't think they can, is the simple answer to that. Brentford, I watched them against Chelsea last week, and Brentford looked like a team who, well, you know they've got good players, but like they're not going to do very much. So I think for Arsenal, at the Emirates, I think the atmosphere is going to be amazing, purely because I think Arsenal now have got to just create this momentum wave. And they've already created it. It's about actually like making that perfect break so that you can ride the crest of that wave. You know, surfing analogies. You never thought you'd get that on a George Benson video, would you? I think Arsenal are going to crush Brentford, and I'm going to say 5-0 to Arsenal is the scoreline today. Chelsea Ipswich. I've done a preview on GBFC. If you want to feel and hear my full thoughts on this game, then check out the main channel. But Chelsea here, there's absolutely nothing other than a win that is acceptable. I'll say that. And Ipswich did beat us earlier this season. Chelsea had 76% possession. But I think Chelsea are also going to get a very comfortable home win, 3-0 against Ipswich Town. Wolves versus Tottenham. This is happening at the same time. And if Wolves win, they are 15 points ahead of Ipswich with 6 games to go. It would almost mathematically secure their safety. Spurs, they're actually looking down at Wolves right now. Look at this. Wolves are only 5 points behind Spurs. So this is actually one of those games where if Wolves do win and make it 4 wins in a row, which is amazing form at this stage of the season, and it's at the Molineux, if Wolves get a result here, I mean, Tottenham's season is almost over anyway. They've got to go to Frankfurt on Thursday night in the Europa League. I don't think they're going to win that. And I think Ange is going to be gone after that. They may as well sack him now. Get Ryan Mason in the dugout, do you know what I mean? And then just see what the rest of the season has in store and start again next year. I think Wolves are actually going to win this game. And I think they're going to win it 2-1. And I think Spurs are going to have their eyes on that Europa League clash because, look, that's all they've got. Tottenham can't get anywhere in the league this season that is going to be salvageable. I think the best they can do is come 13th. I don't think they're going to manage to catch Brentford even, let alone Crystal Palace, who are in just such good form. Bournemouth are kind of capitulated, but we'll talk about them in a minute. Wolves 2, Tottenham 1. Liverpool-West Ham. Is this the game where Liverpool get even closer to the title? Yes. If we take a look at West Ham's form, Graham Potter's not really had the impact you would have expected. They're still lumbering down in 16th, but they could go level on points with Manchester United at least in the meantime. But I think they will? No. I think Liverpool are going to win 2-1. I think it will be close, but I think it will be one of those 2-1 Liverpool wins where Liverpool are actually so much better than West Ham, but they don't score many goals, and then West Ham get a late goal to make the ending exciting. Anyway, Newcastle, Manchester United is the Super Sunday game here. Let's take a look at the league table. So I've said Aston Villa are going to win. Man City going to draw. Chelsea going to win. So this is... And Nottingham Forest are going to win too. So Newcastle, even though they got that game in hand, which would see them leapfrog Chelsea, this is a must-win for Newcastle. For Manchester United, at the moment, I think it is purely about keeping the fans sane. I've seen some meltdowns after Onana's mistake. My thoughts on that whole situation, we'll talk about this game because this is probably the biggest game of the weekend, maybe. I don't know. I think maybe Liverpool's game is the biggest. This is they're all pretty big games this weekend, to be fair. Everything matters this season. But regarding Manchester United and Onana, I'm going to give a take here that might not be popular amongst Man United fans. But, like, I know that Onana's not very good. But at this point in time, I don't actually think it was as mega of a calamity. I've seen worse calamities from him alone this season. Do you know what I mean? He's just not a very good goalkeeper. He shouldn't be the Man United keeper anymore. I think he could have been good, but you don't play that. It's just not worked. It's a failure. It's a big disaster. But I do think Man United, on any given game, could get a result somewhere. But Newcastle, right? They've got that trophy. It's in the bed. It's in the bag. It's done. Tick the boxes. Now it is about the Champions League. And for Man United, it is about beating Lyon on Thursday, having just played on Thursday as well. So I'm going to say, I think Newcastle might smash Man United to pieces, 3-1 Newcastle. I think there's goals galore this weekend, by the way. I've just got a feeling. I'm going to say it now, and you can come back to this video and be like, Benson, you did tell us. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Newcastle. Bournemouth versus Fulham. Now then, it's the end of the bloody video. If you're still here, smack a like. And I hope you've left your comment about what you think's going to happen here. It's 10th versus 8th. It is Fulham, who are 3 wins from their last 5. Can they get that away form ticking? Bournemouth, without a win in their last 5. Kind of crumbling a little bit. Looking over their shoulders at Crystal Palace, at Brentford, although Brentford have won 1 in 5 too. And this is the final game of the weekend on Monday night. Bournemouth versus Fulham is going to finish Bournemouth 2, Fulham 3. There's going to be goals again. Fulham are going to get the win, and they are going to be in their own little Conference League race, chasing down any of these boys that slip up here near the top of the Premier League table. This has been your Saturday morning chilled out video where we do the predictions. I ask for yours. Later on today, there will probably be another video on one of the matches later, whatever the best game is. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Man City Crystal Palace. I think there's a story to be had there. Whether Man City, I mean, if it finishes 1-0, 2-0 City, if there's talking points, basically, I'm watching the football closely and I'm looking for things in the videos that I think you will find interesting. That is what More GBFC is all about, reacting to the big moments. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will catch you over the weekend with plenty of content. See you in a bit.